Kel McGregor.
Yeah, he didn't train today. He's got a stomach bug. He is. I'm hoping he's going to be okay. I don't know whether Trusty passed that on to him in the last couple of days or not. And Callum never misses a training session, you know. So he's got. He had, I think, a bit of vomiting and things like that there. Sorry for bringing that word up.
Hello again, folks. A warm welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast. I am Xander. I've got John with me here tonight to go through, well, a whole load of stuff. We've got to go through all the latest news, gossip, rumours. We're going to go through the disaster the other night. We've got the big preview of the Falkirk game to do as well, predictors, competitions, blah, blah, blah. Got a whole load of things to do. So let's get John in right away. How are you, John?
Aye, all right, Xander, aye. Surprisingly, after midweek.
Midweek was a disaster, an absolute disaster for the supporters, the club, the fans, everybody associated with Celtic, and we're going to break it down. Unfortunately, we need to break it down because we've not had a chat about it yet. We're now a couple of days after that disaster, and it was a disaster, John. Let's be honest. I've never seen anything like it coming from Celtic after 4-0 lead. Anyway, we're going to cover the news and stuff like that first, John, because there's other important stuff cropped up also that we need to go through. So let's start with the news, then we'll do what we normally do, the previews, etc., John. So the news, right, let's get into it. In fact, first of all, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share all the usual stuff, just do all the usual stuff that you do. Channel's flying, absolutely superb, I love it. Thank you very much to everybody for everything you do for us. Competition, if you want to get your guess in for the Falkirk game, one guess each for the correct score. Celtic versus Falkirk on Saturday. 3 points up for grabs in the league table on your left hand side there. Everybody knows the script by now. Get your guess in for Celtic versus Falkirk. Good luck everybody with that also. And we'll also do the 1-on-1 predictor a wee bit later between John and myself, where it's currently at 1 each, and we'll do a wee update on the midweek fixtures. Right, John, news, let's get into it then. This stadium ban, it's just came out today. Celtic and the Rangers supporters are going to be banned for one home Scottish Cup tie this season, John. So the Rangers have dragged us down with them yet again. You know, nothing to do with us, all that carry on at Ibrox last season when we beat them and they couldn't handle it. They ran onto the park for a pitch invasion. Dragged the Celtic fans down with them, John. We've now got an empty stadium for the next Scottish Cup game at home. Now, I was looking at that as well, John. It's at home. It's the home ties. Now, we hardly ever get a home tie in the Scottish Cup. So maybe this won't affect us because most of our ties are away. It's Rangers to get all their ties at home. So they're guaranteed the next Scottish Cup tie they're going to be playing at home in an empty stadium, John. But they brought us down with them, John. It's an absolutely disgraceful decision. Celtic have released a statement saying that they're shocked by the disproportionate punishment. I couldn't agree anymore with that, to be honest with you, John. It's an absolutely disgusting punishment for Celtic Football Club, and we've done absolutely nothing wrong.
It's one of these, we've spoke about all this before. I hate going through stuff we've spoke about before, but now that it's come out in the water that, you know, there's punishment handed out, £100,000 fine in an empty stadium for the first Scottish Cup tie at Celtic Park. It's outrageous. I mean, Celtic fans had an overspill. We spoke about this before. It was a long day for the Celtic fans. They've just managed to get through. And the fans overspill. It happens sometimes at games all across the world. They certainly never attacked anybody. The Rangers fans decide, you know, usual pathetic bad. I'm not talking about all Rangers fans, by the way. But them in the blue masks, you know, the thug element, they think their thugs are absolute bangers and their Moz blue tights. We've been through this 100 times.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea to charge the length of the park and fire flares into the Celtic fans, bottles, coins, other sorts of stuff, vapes, lighters, all that stuff. They ran the full length of that stadium to do that, to attack Celtic fans that overspilled to celebrate with their team. and it is disproportionate. If you're going to look at blame for any violence that happened that day, it was all down to Rangers fans. They attacked Celtic staff yet again. They attacked Celtic fans, and the Celtic fans are the ones that suffer. And they shouldn't have been dragged into it, to be honest with you. A fine for the overspill, £10,000 fine for the overspill, fair enough. But to be treated in the same way as them animals that ran the length of the pitch and done what they did is absolutely despicable. I don't want to talk about that anymore. That made me sick seeing that today.
Yeah, of course. And the £100,000 will go to whoever it is we're playing at home. That money goes to the away team. So that's fair enough. They'll get their payday. But John, it just baffles me, this decision. It really does. You know, an empty stadium for our very first Scottish Cup tie. So imagine we've got a Hearts and Aberdeen, a Hibs at home. We're not going to have any supporters there. It's just doesn't bear thinking about, does it? And of course, Celtic are going to decide what their next steps are going to be as regards to that SFA decision today. Absolutely disgusting. It really is. Right, John, let's move it on.
Well, I can only guess they've not looked at the evidence. They've not looked, if they've deemed that both sides were equally to blame, they've not looked at the evidence. They've not looked at the staff and the fans being attacked in the manner that they did. They haven't looked at that. Because if they did look at that, the punishment for them would be 100 times more severe than it actually should be. Now we can move on.
Yeah, John, it's a coward's get out by the SFA. They don't want to punish Rangers and not punish Celtic. It was causing an absolute uproar if that was the case. Even though the Celtic supporters did absolutely nothing wrong, apart from, as you say, a couple spill into the park. A £10,000 fine, as you say, would cover that, not a problem. But it would cause absolute mayhem in Scotland if the SFA did not punish Celtic and Rangers. It's a cop-out, it's a coward's way out, and they're stuck with it. So hopefully Celtic can, get the lawyers involved and get this decision turned around.
You're exactly right. And like I says, look at the evidence. Look at the evidence. Look at what they done with their flares, bottles, vapes, lighters, coins, attacking Celtic staff, attacking Celtic fans. Look at what they done and tell me that was Celtic fans that done that. Tell me Celtic fans acted in the same way as them, because anybody that says they did is kidding themselves on. And, if the only ones that would agree would be Rangers fans, they'd think Celtic fans acted the same way as Rangers fans that day, which is absolute bullshit. It's the worst decision I've ever seen when it comes to stuff like that. Honestly, I'm sick of it, Xander. I'm absolutely sick of that Celtic's been treated the same way as they've been treated with us. And that's not just because I'm a Celtic fan. You look at that as an outsider, looking at that, you go, look at these fans running the length of that park and look at what they're doing to their fans and that team staff. And then you read months later, that Celtic have been handed equal punishment as the animals that acted the way they did that day. It's honestly sickening.
And of course, the Celtic were the away team. Celtic are not responsible for security at the stadium that day because Celtic were the away team. So the whole thing doesn't add up. And of course, we just hope that the whole decision gets turned around. Rangers get the stadium ban, Celtic get a fine. That's what the punishment should be. Right, we'll move it on. Let's move it on. There's a lot to get through here today. Of course, we've got a big game coming up as well on Saturday. And it seems to be on the back burner, that, didn't it, John? The Falkirk game. There's so much else going on. We had the European draw, Europa League draw earlier on today. We've been drawing some, very tricky ties. Quickly run through them. I know everybody probably already knows it, but it's Marseille at home, Ferencváros at home, Celta Vigo at home, Besiktas at home. Then we've got Benfica away, Union SG away, Omonia away, and Torrens away also. So it's not too bad a draw, John. That's the way I look at it. But there's a few tough ones in there. Marseille, Celta Vigo, Benfica, and Besiktas. A few tricky ties in there, John.
A lot of tricky ties in there. I mean, it's bordering on Champions League level, the quality of the teams that's in there. But the Europa League's always had decent teams in it, you know. I think if Celtic can honestly feel hard done by it, we talk about this time and time again. Stop calling it the Champions League. Celtic won their domestic league. They should be straight into the Champions League. We should be straight in there without having to play any stupid qualifying rounds. Celtic, the champions of the country, should be straight into the Champions League. It's as simple as that. I don't care what anybody says. You win your league, you go straight into the Champions League. It's called the Champions League, no the 4th, 5th and 6th position in the table league. Change the name of it. I've said it time and time again. It shouldn't be called the Champions League if the champions don't go into it. It's nonsense.
You win the FA Cup now, I think you get into it. You know, the FA Cup Winners' League. It's an absolute joke. It really is. We shouldn't have to qualify, but we did, John. We'll get into that. We will get into that. If there's, there's a lot of anger still out there with regards to that. But that's where we got in the Europa League again. We'll quickly run through it again. Marseille, Ferencváros, Celta Vigo, and Besiktas all at home. And away from home, we get Benfica, Union SG, Ammonia, and Torrens all away from home. So, at least we're still in Europe, John. That's one way we can look at it, after, Jablanek. We're going to go into it all, by the way, folks. We will go into it all. But, I mean, some of the comments we received on this podcast, the videos, the aftermath videos, interviews that I put on, etc. And Rangers, it just goes to show you, John, actually, it just goes to show you they've got their eye on this channel. Many, many, many hundreds of them have got their eye on this channel constantly. Some of the comments they left were pretty disgusting, but of course you're going to expect that from them. And then that happens the very next day. Karma was beautiful.
If it was me running this channel, I'd be putting a video up with all their comments, naming and shaming them, because they're vile. I'm not saying them all, but the ones that leave comments, they're absolutely brainless, vile morons. But you're going to get that after a Celtic defeat. But it's the manner of the comments. Leave a comment. If Rangers get beat, you get Celtic fans leaving comments on their channels, but they're never anything next to the level that they leave. They're unbelievable. But if it was my channel, if I was running this channel, I'd be naming and shaming every one of them, putting a video out there. Scotland's shame. The best of Scotland's shame. Get the video up, get the comments on, show what they're like to the world.
Yeah, and then you're then giving them, airspace and highlighting their names. That's what they want. That's
no, they don't want that, because they're that stupid. They don't know what they're doing. They're leaving comments bordering on a prison sentence. Some of them.
Yeah,
the way the world does the day. I mean, you say anything these days, and you'll have the cops knocking at your door. So you've got to be very careful what you say these days. Free speech is gone, and these morons don't realise that, and they're leaving comments like the day. I would name and shame them. Trust me. Yeah,
well, the karma was beautiful anyway. And we're going to go into the karma. It doesn't make us, a richer club or anything like that. We've lost that £40 million jackpot in the Champions League, but it was brilliant. Morons, as you say. Put back in their box less than 24 hours later. Excuse me. Right, John. Let's move on with the news anyway. That's the Europa League draw done and dusted. We went through that. Good luck to Celtic in that. We're going to need it, of course. Players on their way out of the club. John, Balikwisha to Ghent. That's very close. £3.5 million we're going to get for Balikwisha. If he does indeed sign for Ghent. Good luck, Ghent, with that, by the way, because the guy was useless. That is close to completion, 3.5 million. So we'll take the hit on that, John. £1.5 million loss if indeed he does go to Ghent.
I still wonder who scouted him and says he's the one for us. I just wonder who scouted him, because that's one of the biggest duds I've ever seen at Celtic. And it's a lot of money. £5 million quid's a lot of money for a club like Celtic. And somebody scouted him and says, he's our boy. He's going to do us a great job. What an absolute dud. A total waste of £1.5 million on the selling fee. Absolute joke.
Money down the drain, especially after we've lost the Champions League money. But we need him out the club. We need the boy out the club. Nothing against the boy himself personally. He's going to come to Celtic. He's going to get offered a double his wage or whatever. He's going to come to the club. But he's he's not gone yet, but he will be gone in the next few days. Of course, the transfer deadline closes in Scotland. That is, it closes on the 3rd of September at 5 o'clock. In England, it's the day before at 11 o'clock. And of course, the deadline day for the Europa League signings have to be registered as the 2nd of September, the day before the deadline day. So if Celtic want to get their new players in, get their, proper signings in, John, players to replace Daz Mida, Arnie Ingles, etc., get them in. They've got to be in before the 2nd of September. When I hold my breath, if I'm going to be honest with you. PSV Eindhoven midfielder Vandenberg, 19-year-old, another midfielder, John. Well, obviously, Martin must be listening to you, because we're looking at another midfielder. This is one just came out over the last hour. PSV Eindhoven midfielder Vandenberg, 19-year-old, scored a right good few goals last season. He's already up to 3 or 4 this season after a few games. So he's looking for a wee bit more strength in the midfield. That one has just came through there, so we'll keep an eye on that one. And of course, we've got a problem with McGregor. We only spoke about it in the last podcast, that if he gets injured, that's what we're going to do. But we've got that problem for this weekend, Saturday, against Falkirk. McGregor's possibly out of this one. So we'll wait and see what happens. It'd be that, with a stomach bug, of course. It's unbelievable. One more right back.
I think that's what Big Trusty had, wasn't it? He's probably caught it off him. You might maybe see a few Celtic players dropping with that illness, 24-hour vomiting bug or something, Sorry about anybody that's having a late night snack here, but that's what it is.
Yeah, I think I'll drop him in embarrassment, to be honest with you. Right, one more wee thing. Celtic versus St Johnstone has been moved to Wednesday the 9th, Wednesday the 9th at 8 o'clock because of, obviously, the Europa League games Celtic's fixtures are going to be shifted about, because it's now Thursday nights we play our European football. And that's another thing, John, just very quickly before we get to the last game. Them getting knocked out of Europe is actually a bonus for them, because they have no European football. They've no got 2 or 3 games a week. They'll only be the 1 game a week. So I suppose that's a wee bonus for them.
No, sometimes it doesn't work out that way, when you're out playing regular, you're up to speed, you're a well-oiled machine, you're out there constantly playing. So sometimes that can work against you, I think, if you've not played for a while. Your fitness levels might not be quite as good. That's what Celtics are. On the other hand, if you suffer defeats in Europe, that could, that puts the head down on the team. And that can work against you as well. So it's eachy peachy, I think. It just depends how we do in Europe, Xander.
Yeah, that's it. As you say, it's more game time for players. Gives players, the fringe players, a chance as well in league games, etc. So it balances itself out, I suppose. I suppose you're right, John. Right, Lask. Does that name send a shiver down your spine? Because it sends a shiver down my spine. And before we get into the game, the actual physical game of football, well done to the Lask supporters for the tribute to the Celtic supporter that died at the Celtic Park last week. A brilliant tribute by their ultras as well, John. Putting up a brilliant banner, rest in peace. The guy's name, James, it was, I think you said, John, the guy that died at Celtic Park. A brilliant wee tribute from Lask, and a minute's silence as well before the game, John. So well done to Lask for that.
Aye, that was a nice touch, the minute's silence as well. Not a minute's applause, minute's silence. Well observed by every single fan in the stadium. So, look, Lask fans are a credit to them, brilliant fans. I thought Lask fans were brilliant. I thought Lask themselves, great team, good luck to them in the Champions League. All the best of luck to Lask, half-decent team. They should be it, to be honest with you, but Celtic capitulated and Lask went through. But look, I'm not going to say anything bad about Lask. Cracking team. All the best of luck to them.
Yeah, my sentiments exactly, John. All the best of luck to them. They did what they had to do. It wasn't their fault that Celtic bottled it. It was Celtic's fault that we bottled it. And of course, I really felt sorry for Martin O'Neill, John. He looked absolutely gutted. Even today's press conference, he looked absolutely gutted with that result and performance. That was not on Martin O'Neill. That nothing to do with Martin O'Neill. Yeah, people are saying we could maybe have put in a couple of rows of 5 and defended the 4-0. But why should you need to defend it being 4-0 up with 55 minutes to go? Obviously game management was maybe been brought into question. But John, I think it's not on Martin O'Neill. It's all on the players out in the park.
Well, Martin O'Neill's taking the blame for it, so make of that what you will. I'll be honest with you, I think they should have put 5 at the back and counter-attacked them. If they would have went 5 at the back, closed the shop, that's it, shut the doors, job done, we'll counter-attack you now, and made it hard for Lask. They didn't, they decided to keep trying to attack, which is a Celtic way, it's a Celtic philosophy, you can understand that. But me personally, if I was managing Celtic and I was 4-0 up, minutes away from a £40 million jackpot, I would have shut the doors under. That's just me personally. That's what I would have done. I would have went the 5 at the back.
Yeah, of course. But sticking with the 4, the team should have been strong enough to keep them out. And shooting yourself in the foot 3 times like we did, Nigel, Sinisalo, Luke McCowan, all giving the ball away in very dangerous areas. More or less Christmas gifts, isn't it? It was really gifts that we gave them to get back into the game. That's not on Martin O'Neill either, is it?
No, you can't blame Martin O'Neill for players passing the ball straight to Lask players or whatever. You can't blame him for that. But he can shoulder some of the responsibility for... I don't like saying that about Martin, a legend to a guy that he is, but he should have went at least 4 at the back. Played a 4-4-2 or something like that. 2 rows of 4. Or maybe a 4-5-1. I really don't know, but I just think tactically it was naive. That's just my take on it. And I think if he would have went a 4-5-1 or a 5-3 or a 5-4, a 5-4-1 or a 4-4-2, something like that, it'd have been a lot harder for Lask to get through. That's just my take. Look, we're out. There's no point in even discussing it. We're out. We can talk about things that happened in the game. And my personal take on it is we should have defended in the second half and made it difficult for them. If we would have done that, I think we'd have been talking about who we're facing in the Champions League, which would be Real Madrid and Liverpool or something, and the rest of them.
And before we go any further, we are allowed to have an opinion on individual players. We're not going to be nasty. We're just going to give an honest assessment. Just that's a wee heads up before we go any further. So let's break it down there, John. Individual players. Now, this is a bit of a horror discussion for us, John, because we love Celtic, we love the players. They're just off the back of winning. There's a double, but some of the performances, John, and you can understand why. Let's go through it then. The defence, you mentioned it earlier on. Our defence is pretty weak. Big Cameron Carter-Vickers is clearly not fit. I don't think he's fit. He didn't look fit the other night. Big Trusty has got a bomb scare in him every time he touches the ball. Kieran Taylor played okay. You know, once he came off, I thought we really struggled. Then, of course, the right back. We've been talking about it for weeks now. With Alistair Johnson injured, it's Donovan and Anthony Ralston, who you said are both not good enough for the Champions League. That was proven in midweek there. Then we move into the midfield. John, Callum McGregor scores the goal. You think that's us through at 4-0. That's us done and dusted. played well, but the players round about him let him down, John. But you know, what can we do? We don't want to be too heavy on any of the players, as I say, right? But the likes of Luke McCowan, Nigel, Sinisalo, John, all giving the ball away for Lask, you know, to turn the tide around is unforgivable for me.
It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. And I've said it before about Luke McCowan. I'll speak my mind. You don't have to if you don't want it. But Luke McCowan's no Celtic quality. He's decent for the Scottish Premier League. He should have stayed at a team like Dundee or something like that. Or an Aberdeen would suit him, something like that. But he's no good enough for the Champions League. He's definitely no good enough for the Champions League. And yet, he just signed a new contract. I'm totally bamboozled by that, him getting a new contract. Now, a lot of Celtic fans are bamboozled by that, and I'm not just singling him out either. You could talk about Nygren. He's good for goals, but in the centre of the park, far too weak in the Champions League. You've got to be more assertive. That pass back straight to one of their players, I think it was the first goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's unforgivable, that. In the Champions League, you'll get laughed at for a performance like that. And no wonder Lask took great confidence after seeing that. You've seen that, what's that boy, Adeniran? Adeniran, isn't it?
Yeah.
I says the last time we played him, watch him, he's a good player, he's a very good player, Adeniran. But I'm also going to point out the fact his tackles on Donovan and Carter Vickers, two really bad tackles. He did the same thing twice. He put Donovan right out the park with his bad tackling, and then he went right through Vickers with his knees up and all that stuff. And he wasn't even booked for it. I can talk about stuff like that. That boy should have had a red card. But that's nothing to do with the result. It might have changed the result had he been sent off. But why was it not even looked at? That, especially the one on Carter Vickers.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
Do you remember that? He just went right into Carter Vickers' whole body, and he's a big boy, right through him, with the knees up, into his groin area and all that, and he just walked away from it and didn't even get a booking.
Yeah, we spoke about the referee's performance. And by the way, John, we're allowed to speak our minds. I'm speaking my mind as well, but we're not nasty like some of the podcasts we're talking about these players. Some of the things that I saw written about McCowan and Nygren and all the other players was pretty disgusting, John. But we're not going to be like that. That's what I mean by that. We're going to speak our minds, but we're not going to be nasty about it. You know, these players are there to earn a wage, you know, earn an honest wage. If they make mistakes, they make mistakes. You know, as you say, there's nothing we can do about it now without the Champions League. But there's no need for some of these Celtic supporters to be so, you know, nasty with their words. That's what I mean. I thought it was quite bad. You know, they're Celtic players at the end of the day, aren't they? But quite poor in the Champions League. You're bang on, John. What was I talking about there? Yeah. The referee was absolutely pathetic. He gave Celtic nothing.
It's Champions League referees, you know. I says even before the first game we played them, we've got to be aware of these dodgy referees. They're worse than what we see in Scotland. I don't care what anybody says. I think the referees in Scotland play at a better level than them. And Donovan gets put right out the park with Adeniran. That's a yellow card. He goes right through him, puts him right out the park, and he walks away. I think the referee had a word with him. Instead of booking him, which should have happened, they should have been booked for it. And then he goes right through Carter Vickers. That should have been a red. That should have been the second booking and a red card, and he's off. If that was Celtic players going in with tackles like that, I guarantee you they'd have been sent off. Guaranteed. Shocking refereeing.
Yeah, or at least looked at by VAR, which it wasn't, of course. But the subs, I think the subs really let us down. Tenecti coming out of the park, McCowan coming out of the park. You know the players I'm talking about. I thought Young done okay when he was on the park. He set up the first goal. A great couple of runs down that left-hand side, actually, from Young. I thought our new boy, Duran, was very quiet. I thought our new boy up front was very quiet, Casper Ho. I thought, just a very, very lacklustre performance in such a big game was very strange for me.
Well, I'm looking at Casper Ho. He didn't win anything. They kept punting long balls up to him all night, and he was getting bullied by that big centre-half. Big centre-half, every time the ball went up long to Casper Ho, big centre-half was winning it. Every single time. There was not one tussle that Casper Ho won. Bullied the whole night. And Celtic kept doing it, and they never learned from the mistakes. Stop punting the ball up long to him. He's not going to win it against that defender. I can't remember the boy's name, but Celtic should be having a look at him. What a defender he was.
Yeah, a very powerful team we saw that at Celtic Park last week. Of course, how strong and powerful they were. And then, of course, Ralston came on also for young Donovan, who was, he was out the game when he was knackered. Ralston came on, and of course, his lack of pace. We spoke about that in the preview as well. His lack of pace, not good enough for the Champions League, of course. And then over the other side, we had to bring on big Liam Scales. And then big Dane Murray came on also, John. I just think the team was all over the place.
It was a poor performance. You can't take it away. Lask deserved to win. They put the ball in the net 5 times that night, and they thoroughly deserved it. We can't say any more than that about Lask. I just thought they were an outstanding team. Apart from their big striker, Adeniran, who should have been sent off, I'll say it again. I've no idea why. He never received 2 yellow cards, but he never did. But Lask, like, you can only say well done to them. I thought they were brilliant. The Celtic, looking back on it, it's one of the worst European performances I can ever remember. Probably the worst, considering we were 4-0 up. I failed to see it to full time. That's unforgivable. That is unforgivable. That, yeah, if you can't see a 4-0 lead out to full time, there's something wrong there, Xander. That's something far wrong tactically.
Yeah, and it's a shame we have to go through it again, but we have to have a wee chat on it, because our people that want to listen to us, they want to know what our views are on it. So we're giving our views, and that's it, John. It's gone now, isn't it? It's the Europa League for us. Very tough ties in the Europa League. Champions League's gone. The money's gone. It's going to affect the signings we bring in. But of course, you know, we're still going to bring in some signings, but I just don't think it's going to be the level that the Celtic deserve, to be honest with you. Being the champions, we deserve to have that higher quality of player. That's not going to happen now that we're out of the Champions League, is it?
Oh, the thing is, when you're buying players this late in the season, all the good ones are away. All the good players are away. It's like trying to pick good apples off a tree in the middle of December. They're all gone. And you're left with the scraps that might do a job for you. That's the way I look at the transfer window, late in the transfer window. All the good ones are gone, and you're left with the slim pickings, basically.
Yeah.
He was an actor, wasn't he? Slim Pickens.
I don't know. But you're right. You're actually right. Well, in saying that, you know, you look at the Rangers, you know, they signed all the players early, but, you know, they're not looking for quality, they're looking for quantity.
But they're shopping at Poundland. They're looking to bring anybody that wants to play for them, and that's what they're doing. Oh, he wants to play for us, we'll take him. That's not the way you run a club. I think they've spent about 75 million quid in 2 seasons, and they've just went backwards. So if we want to talk about our scouting being poor, you can look at them and say, we've done no bad job.
Yeah, Jablonec, a wee word on that before we go into the Falkirk game. Big preview coming up, folks. It was quite funny because, as I say, the comments that were left on this channel on various different videos over on Facebook and on YouTube was quite disgusting. And then that happened, as I say, less than 24 hours later. Jablonec, John, 334th in the world rankings. 300. Let me rephrase that. 334th in the world. They're an amateur team, John. They're very amateurish. They're very small stadium. But fair play. They put them to the sword. They put them out on penalties. And it was just absolute karma, wasn't it? It made things a wee bit better for us, let's be honest.
I watched that game. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Just, you look at some of the small teams that have put them out. That's right up there, isn't it? But look, fair play to Jablonec, or Jablonish, or however you pronounce it. I thought they were a good wee team. I thought they played all right. Deserved their win. Nice wee goal. Their goal that got them into penalties was a nice goal. They were the better team on the night. They outplayed Rangers for most of that game. Thoroughly deserved. And I've had quite a few laughs at that as well. Absolutely brilliant. So that shows you where they're at. We can talk about throwing away a 4-0 lead, which is unforgivable that I keep saying. We shouldn't be doing that. But you look at a team where their fans think they're the best things since sliced bread, and then they go to Jablonec and get beat, turned over by absolute donkeys, you know, a team of farmers and postmen and all that stuff. I don't know if they're quite that bad. I don't know much about them. I had heard of them, to be honest with you. But, they can't laugh at anybody. That's a serious embarrassment.
Yeah, that's it. It's it's an embarrassment, but it's funny. But it's also a serious side, of course, John. The rankings for Europe next season. I think we may now need to play a couple of qualifiers, which is unbelievable when you think about it, John. We shouldn't be playing any qualifiers if we win the league, of course. But obviously the coefficient's going to be affected by the other results, John. Not just the Rangers. Hibs getting put out by Ghent. They were very unlucky, getting put out 3-2 by Ghent. Motherwell, bit of a hammering, wasn't it? 4-1 and 3-1, that's that. 7-2 in aggregate. Motherwell out as well. Hearts, John, they went through, didn't they? Who was it they played against? I can't even remember.
Rapid Vienna.
That's it, John. Rapid Vienna. They've
I think Hearts have done remarkable there, Xander. I'll be honest with you. I think they've done remarkable to get through against it. I think Rapid Vienna are a very decent team. Of course, they're playing in the Austrian. They're an Austrian team as well. They're sitting top of the league in Austria right now. I think Lask are sitting second. And what's the other team? What's the other team that they put Hearts at the Champions League? I can't remember, but
I remember myself, John. But that's a good result for them. You're right, John. It was a very decent result against Rapid Vienna, especially away from home. They stuck with it, didn't they? They got their penalties and they're through. So,
was it Braga?
Braga, yeah. No, that's their Portuguese. I can't remember, John, who it was.
Well, Hearts basically had a stab at Celtic on that Twitter. I don't use Twitter, by the way, or X or whatever it's called.
Benfica, was it? Benfica?
No, it was sure it wasn't I just mentioned them, I forgot it already. I'm just going to look that up now. But basically Hearts had a go at Celtic. Winning in Austria isn't for everyone. What kind of things that's funny right enough, but especially when it's coming from a Diddy team like Hearts.
Yeah, playing in a third tier competition that nobody's interested in,
Well, that's true.
Yeah, but this is who they've got, John, anyway. They've got Monaco at home in the Conference League, Paphos away. Paphos. Borac. This is the team they've got. Borac at home. Is that not a TV programme or something? Trabzonspor away. Norland at home and Thun away. So that's who they've got in the Conference League. It can stick out for you there, John.
Never heard of the most of them, but Borac. Borac. That was what's his name? Can't mind his real name, but I quite like him. The comedy guy, I mean. But Hearts did get put out with Sturm Graz in the Champions League. They get put out 6-1 in aggregate. No, hold on a minute. Sturm Graz 6-0 in aggregate. So there you go. That's another Austrian team. Sturm Graz, they're sitting third. They put them at the Champions League 6-0 in aggregate. So Hearts basically says to Celtic, winning in Austria isn't for everyone. And Sturm Graz must have seen it, and they say something about Hearts. I can't mind exactly what Sturm Graz said in retaliation, but it was funny. Something about something isn't for everyone. Champions League isn't for everyone, or something like that.
Yeah, well, they can't go screaming when they're in that third tier. But of course, they're going to play those extra games throughout the season as well. They're going to be Thursday and Sunday also, the same as Celtic, aren't they? So, as you say, well done to Hearts getting through. I mean, that was. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you. And by the way, Celtic played Jablonec back in 2021, John. So I got a bit of coffee there. 4-2 Celtic won away from home in Jablonec and 3-0 at Celtic Park, John. So that was a 7-2 aggregate score. So Celtic took care of them no problem back in 2021, whereas Rangers got knocked out. Right, John. Falkirk. The domestic stuff returns. I think it's a bit of a relief, to be honest with you. We can now get back to domestic football because it is important. Of course, we want to try and win the league. But where are the players' thoughts at this moment, John, heading into this game on Saturday?
Reward the fans. That's where they should be. I don't know if that is where their heads are, but that's where it should be. As we need to reward the fans with a big win. And we need a big win. We need to make a statement to these other teams surrounding us. Rangers and Hearts, they're going to be full of confidence right now. I think they'll be close runners again this season, Hearts. But we need to put out a statement win there. A 4-5-6-0 against Falkirk. That's where their head should be. I don't know if that's where they will be, but that's where they should be.
I think it's going to be one of these hangovers, European hangovers, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be dead stuffy and sticky again. Falkirk always give us a tough game anyway, but I think because of what happened on Wednesday night, it's going to be tough. But the bookmakers don't think that. They think Celtic are going to absolutely canter it. 1-5 Celtic to beat Falkirk on Saturday, 6-1 the draw, and 12-1 Falkirk to win at Celtic Park. But of course, you look at the odds in the last game, Celtic were hot favourites. they were 3 or 4 to 1, weren't they? 2-1 away from home. So it really goes for nothing, John.
No, it goes for absolutely nothing. I mean, I've seen teams come to Celtic Park and turning us over last season quite a few times. So no, it goes for nothing. And like you says, there could be a European hangover. We just don't know yet. We'll wait and see what happens. By the way, I was just going to talk about Hearts. They get put out by Sturm Graz in the Champions League. Then they get put out by Benfica, like you mentioned earlier. And that was a 7-2 as well. That's 3-7-2 aggregates we spoke about today. We spoke about Motherwell, we spoke about Celtic against Jablonec, and now we're talking about Hearts and Benfica. Benfica put them out 7-2 as well. Anyway, on you go, Sander.
Yeah, Chris Graham, he's the referee. Man in the middle, and Greg Aitken on the VAR. Players out for Celtic. Jota still out. He's not far away. He'll probably be on the bench for next weekend, actually. He's early next month, which is only a few days away, so he should be on the bench for the next game. You never know, John. He might be on the bench for Falkirk. Hopefully he is, because we could be doing with players like Jota back in the squad. Alistair Johnson, he's another 4 weeks away. By golly, did we miss him in midweek, didn't we? Callum McGregor and Trusty both have stomach bugs, but they could feature, so we'll wait and see. Falkirk, on the other hand, they've had a 20-day break. That's unreal, isn't it? I know that there was the League Cup rounds, they weren't in that. Then there was the break for Europe. Of course, there was no games at the weekend there for the European break for all the teams that were in Europe, so they didn't play that weekend either. So they've had a full 20-day break. Is that going to help them or hinder them? What do you think?
It's hard to say. You just don't know when it comes to that kind of stuff. Does the rest, you're not up to speed for 20, if you've not played for 20 days, you're not quite up to speed. That's the way I've always looked at that. I really don't know if that's going to help or hinder. Celtic, of course, have only had 3 days rest. Tiredness could creep in. Hard to say. I mean, looking at Falkirk's, last few results, they beat Stranraer 3-0. What to do? They get beat by St Mirren 2-0. And they drew 0 each with Motherwell. So drawing with 0 each with Motherwell was a decent result, Sander. They did that at Fir Park.
Yeah, they've got battling qualities, Falkirk. They always have had, especially under McGlynn. He has them battling, didn't he? Unless it's Rangers they're playing, of course. But players out for them: Adam Nisbet out, Laidlaw out, Adams out, Tanzer out, Lang out. I've got to run through their starting 11. My predicted starting 11 for Falkirk is Bain and goal. Then it's Strain, Nielsen, Henderson, McCann, Cross, Barbrick, Docherty, Yates, Ross, and Parkinson is my starting 11 for Falkirk. John, a few new names in there. They've obviously had a few signings during the summer, but they're still a decent team, John, and they will give us a game, of course. But starting the lineup for Celtic, John, I don't know if McGregor and Trusty's going to play. You can fling them in if you want, right? It's up to you. But I think there will be a starting place for Hassan in this one, John. I think he's got. Where was he? Where was Hassan against Lask? Was he no eligible, or was he injured? I mean, where was that boy? I mean, we could have been doing with him on the park with that strength and pace that he's got. Nowhere to be seen.
I turned the game off at 3-1, like I told you before we came on here. So I don't know if he came on as a sub later on or whatever. And the reason I turned it off, because I knew I could see the fold coming. You could just see it coming a mile away. You just knew it was coming. So I don't know if he made a sub appearance later on or whatever, did he?
No, he didn't, John. No, you're nowhere near it.
Was he no? That's a strange one. And we're signing players like that for the Champions League. So why is he not making an appearance? But there you go. I don't know. Maybe he was suspended for it or something. I really don't know.
Right, what's your lineup then for Falkirk on Saturday? As I say, you can fling them in. It's up to you if you think McGregor's going to be okay. But if he's no there, who do we play? I've also got Bauer, Knights, and Rio Hitati as your main 3 midfielders. And there's nobody else we can really throw in there unless it's the Ox comes back and throw him in that holding role. I don't know, John, but on you go, buddy. What do you think?
I don't know if the Ox will start. I know if Callum McGregor's no fit. Probably. I would imagine so.
Yeah.
But for me, it would be, I don't even want to say Sinisalo after his performance in Europe. But it will be him, Sinisalo.
But will it? Will he throw in the Aberdeen keeper, Doohan? Well, he's a Celtic goalkeeper, but you know what I mean. Will he throw in Doohan for this one, John?
Scottish Cup winners, Aberdeen.
Yeah. Should he throw in Doohan, actually?
I really don't know. I don't think he will get a start. I think he's only there to make up the Scottish contingent. I think that's the only reason he's there.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't think it will be him.
Right, okay. Should it?
So, should it? I don't know. After a performance like midweek Sinisalo had, to be honest, his defenders never helped him much anyway.
Yeah.
But he still had a shocker.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he should. Yeah, throw in Ross Doohan. Should he start though?
I think he should, John. I think he needs give him a chance. He's not kicked him off for Celtic.
You might be right. He might be looking at Sinisalo and saying, right, you've had your chance. It's time to give your competition a chance. Throw Ross Doohan and see how he does.
Yeah, that's it. They're at home. We're playing against Falkirk. You know, no better time than a home tie against Falkirk.
It won't happen though.
No. That was a waste of time, wasn't
it? When you're saying should he start, I think he should, but it won't happen.
Yeah.
I think if a player's had a really bad game, he should be made to pay the price. Right, we're going to drop you for the next game. You let in 5. We're going to give somebody else a chance to see how they got on.
100%.
But that's not going to happen anyway. So in the centre half position, I think it's going to be Carter Vickers and Liam Scales, with Kieran Tierney on the left and Donovan on the right. Centre of the park. If Callum McGregor is still sick, he will start with the Ox, I think.
Yeah.
And with Nygren, with Nygren and Bauer.
Yeah.
He'll be all right, Scotland. Up front, I definitely think Hassan should start this one, but like he says with the goalkeepers, will he start? I don't think so. If he's not getting a shot in the Champions League, he's not going to get a shot against Falkirk. No in the starting position anyway. I don't know what the problem is with Hassan. Maybe he's just not up to speed yet. Martin O'Neill knows better than us, so I don't think he will start. I think it will be Duran.
Yeah.
With Ho up front. We need to start seeing better performances from him. But he'll start up front. And Yang on the left. But on Ho, you don't just score a hat-trick against Kilmarnock and think you can relax. You've got to give 100% every single game, and it was non-existent against Lask. Big defender, back pocket, easy peasy.
Yeah, I know. It's he's got to start pulling his finger at the big man, isn't he? We know he's a decent player. He does it in Scotland. You know, he holds the ball up well in Scotland, but in Europe, he was posted missing away from home, wasn't he? Yeah, I agree with that, John. I think it'll be the Ox in the midfield. I think it'll be Bauer and Nygren, definitely. Like, who else can we play? You know, and then I think your man may start this one. I think Hassan may start, and I think Duran may start up front, John. I think he could get the nod, put the big man on the bench, give him a rest, and on the left, Yang, I'd go with that as well. So yeah, more or less the same, John, for me. And I agree with Scales as well. I think Scales will come in at the centre half position, and I think will pay a trusty, John. If the big Cameron Carter Vickers looked, he pulled up a wee knock as well, didn't he? He was limping at the end of the game. So he'll get a rest, I think, big Cameron Carter Vickers, and I think it'll be trusty in Scales. But we'll wait and see. Come 2 o'clock on Saturday.
I'm not surprised Carter Vickers was limping at the end of the game after that tackle by that Adeniran guy. Honestly, you need to look at that back. That was brutal, man. How he wasn't booked for that. I even spoken to him, unbelievable. You don't see Cameron Carter-Vickers staying down for anything, and he had to stay down for that. I mean, he's need him in the ground and all that as well. The whole body right through him. Never won the ball.
Yeah, I know. I think that the Celtic players needed a wee bit more protection off the referee. He was letting fouls go. Fouls on Celtic players go, and then when Celtic were going with the fouls, he was blown up for the free kick. Yeah, but it happens all the time, John, doesn't it? So we should be used to that by now. Right, league table, on your left hand side, correct score league table. Get your guesses, folks. And by the way, there's a few new people put guesses in, and I keep forgetting to add them. So I'll add them in. I'll add the new people in. There's a couple of new ones there. I've noticed a few of our regulars have not been putting guesses in as well, so they'll drop out and we'll put in the new ones. So that's the way it's going to be, my afraid, folks. If you don't put your guess in, you'll drop out, and the people that are putting their guesses in, they will be added. So I'll amend that. I'll amend the league table. But get your guesses in, everybody. Get all the regulars. Get your guess in. Celtic versus Falkirk. Correct score guess. One guess each into the comment section. Good luck, everybody, with that. And you as well, John. Good luck to you. You can go first, buddy. Celtic versus Falkirk.
I'm looking at a bounce back game here, and I think Falkirk might smell a bit of blood after a defeat like that for Celtic. You'll see that these teams will high press Celtic. Falkirk won't be any different. But I think Celtic will be too strong for them. I'm going to say, I'll go 3-1. 3-1 to Celtic. No, I'm going to go 4-1 to Celtic.
Right, you've changed your mind. They always say don't do that. I'm going to stick with 3-0. Basic 3-0. That'd be lovely. Just to put a wee bit of pressure on the two boys who don't play to Sunday. Hearts and Rangers, that is, of course, all the other teams, they play Saturday and Sunday. And we'll go through a predictor in a wee minute. But yeah, either way, John, it's vital now. We can't give any of these other teams, Hearts, Rangers, anybody else that's got any ideas, any momentum. We've got to put Falkirk to the sword and try and get this Champions League exit behind us starting with a win against Falkirk.
Aye. This is the thing, isn't it? I mean, Celtic drop points and they will smell blood, especially Hearts. I think Hearts are a far better team than Rangers, far better. So, you can't give them any chance. You've got to keep your eye on the ball, stay at the top of that league to the end of the season. We're top right now. Another wee win, lovely jubbly, that'll do us. We'll stay at the top of the league if that's the case. And if we keep winning our games, there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, that's it. We've got that cushy wee lead over them already. And of course, the Hearts have picked up a wee bit, but the Rangers are in free fall. They really are. He's got one more game, hasn't he? And we're going to go into predictor right now. And we'll mention that game that he's got, McInnes, the Brown Brogues man. Predictor, John, I got one right midweek. Celtic B versus Dumbarton, 2 each it was. It finished 2 each. So it's 2-1 to me in the predictor. A wee early lead for me. It's no bad, isn't it? So let's get into the weekend predictor then, John. Hearts against St Johnstone on Saturday.
Aye, well done. Hearts confidence after that. St Johnstone newly promoted. I'm going to say 3-0 to Hearts.
Yeah, it's a scalping into it. 1 each for me. I'm going the draw and that one. St Johnstone after Hearts will have a wee hangover there. 1 each for me, but I doubt it very much. Kilmarnock versus Dundee United.
1 each. It's a scalping, then say 1 each.
Aye, it's a scalping, but it won't be. I think it'll be a draw, but you never know. It's just a prediction, isn't it?
You don't know. This is it. It's just a guess. Nobody knows what the result's going to be, but I think you're cloud cuckoo land with that one.
No. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We thought Celtic were going to qualify, and they didn't. So anything can happen.
That's true. Right. Who was the next up?
Kilmarnock United.
Kilmarnock versus United. Kilmarnock on that lovely new pitch.
Yeah.
I watched that game last night, actually. The full game, the rerun. It's on YouTube. Pitch looks lovely. Not a bump in it.
Right. A wee question for you, John. I know it's a bore anybody that's still listening. I should probably nobody. But how do these people get away with putting full games on I've seen, no, obviously your broadcasters can do it because it's their property, but you see full games and full highlights reels with no filters through them and things like that, and they get the, you know, they can put it on their channel. I just don't understand how they can do that, because when I put a video on, it's got to be filtered 10 times, it's got to be amended, adjusted, just so that all our brilliant viewers and subscribers can watch the famous Glasgow Celtic, John. And it takes me about an hour to make a video. I've seen people putting videos on minutes after the full-time whistle. I just don't know how they do it.
I've no idea. Absolutely no idea. But maybe it's a VPN. Maybe they're registered in a different country via a VPN, something like that. I really don't know, even if you can get away with that. But
it could be something like that. Yeah, it could be.
That's just a guess.
Yeah.
I'm not technically minded, but I know if you've got a VPN, you can be, you know, you can be broadcasting from anywhere you choose. I could be sitting here, put my VP on and say I'm sitting in Kuala Lumpur or something like that. I don't know where that came from. But I could be, you know what I mean? I could pick anywhere in the world. Right, I'm going to change I'm now sitting in the Antarctic or whatever. I don't know if there's any internet in the Antarctic, mind you, but you know what I mean? You could be sitting in anywhere in the world if you've got a VPN. So it could be something like that. I've really no idea how it all works, but that's the only thing I can think of.
That's it, because there's no copyright in some countries. You're right, John. It could be that. And I just wish I knew, because that means I could get the videos on a lot quicker, you know. That's a car, by the way. Right, John, let's move on. Aberdeen against the Rangers on Sunday. That's a big one for Mr. McInnes.
Mr. McInnes, what a clown he is, man. Do you think, was he disgusted after the game against Jablonec?
You know something? I couldn't tell you. You know, I didn't even watch the Jablonec game. I just heard the result coming through. It was nice, and once I heard the result was coming through, that's how I managed to get the wee video on, because I got the very end of it. Obviously, Rangers TV, when they get beat, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, John, but when Rangers get beat, Rangers TV cut it off almost immediately after the full-time whistle, which is absolutely disgusting for anybody that's paid a prescription for that. A subscription for that. Celtic TV at least talk about it for a good 10 minutes after it, but Rangers TV cut it off almost immediately after the full-time whistle. So I managed to get the wee bit that I was looking for, the penalties. You know, I managed to get that, and it was just hilarious. But no, John, he's in big trouble, and he's got to beat Aberdeen.
Oh, he certainly has. I don't know why we're talking about this Aberdeen game with McInnes and all that when we're talking about Dundee United and Kilmarnock. But
we're not gave you. Do you not have your guess for that yet?
No, we'll just give the guess for Aberdeen against them.
Yeah, go for it then, just yeah.
That's what
happens when you talk about Antarctica.
Well, we might as well talk about that game instead of the Dundee United game, because we're talking about it now.
Yeah, we'll go back to it.
But go back to what? Dundee United?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I just think Aberdeen, they'll definitely smell blood. Rangers will obviously want to, you know, the only thing left for them is domestic stuff. But I think Aberdeen will smell blood. I definitely think they will. They'll see an injured animal there, literally. And they'll want to put them to bed. Aberdeen going out all guns blazing. I'm going to go for a draw on this one. I'm going to say one each.
I'm going to go 2-1 either way. A draw would be lovely, by the way. But I'm going to go 2-1 either way. I'm going to swing for the home team. Yeah, 2-1 to Aberdeen. I'll go for that. Right, okay. Yeah, we'll wait and see. I think it'll be 2-1 either way, though. But I'll go for the dismal ones. And that one, the dismal Dons to beat the Rangers 2-1. Right, back to Kilmarnock Dundee United then, John. What were you going to say there?
Scottish Cup winners, Aberdeen.
We heard that for a while, have we?
No, that's got to remember. It's a big occasion.
Massive occasion. Massive. They're absolutely dismal. They're diabolical, Aberdeen. But, you know, I still think they'll be good enough to beat them.
I don't
No,
think
no,
they're
no.
that bad. They're not too bad, Aberdeen. I mean, they've got some decent players there. If they show up on their day, maybe, what's his name, Stephen Robinson,
Yeah.
could be manager. You know, he's had a few good results against him. So you've got to take that into account as well. I'm just checking out Aberdeen's last results. They beat Dundee 3-0. Who else have they played? Let's see, 2 seconds.
Was that the last game? Beating Dundee 3-0. Was that the last game?
The last game they beat Dundee 3-0. I think it was anyway. That was on. No, that was the Scottish League Cup second round. So they put Dundee out the cup, but Dundee beat them in the league at Dens Park. They beat them 2-0. They beat Hearts 2-1. And they beat Celtic and Queen of the South 3-0 and 4-1 respectively. So in the league, they've beat Hearts 2-1 and they've been beat 2-0 by Dundee. That was their last league game, 2-0 against Dundee at Dens Park.
I actually watched that, believe it or not, live. They were terrible. So that's why I think, you know, the Rangers may get a wee result there. But who knows? Who knows? As long as a wee draw would be perfect, actually. I would be quite happy with that.
Aye, right. Dundee United, Kilmarnock against Dundee United on the new grass pitch. I think I'll go for. I watched Dundee United get turned over easily by Dundee 2-0. Although I thought Dundee United were the better team, to be honest with you. They just never took their chances. They had. I think they controlled most of that game, but just didn't take their chances. So on that basis, I'm going to go for watching Dundee United. I thought they were pretty good. Just never took their chances. What their heads be doing after losing a derby game, I really don't know. Oh, I don't know. Kilmarnock taking a thumping off of Celtic 5-1. It's at Rugby Park. I'm going to say 2-1 to Kilmarnock.
It's very, very tough. It's got to draw it and all over it, hasn't it? I'm going to go 1 each in that one. Who else have we got? Dundee against Hibs on Sunday.
Hibs, their heads will be down. I thought they played well last night and didn't deserve that, by the way, that 3-2 defeat. You know what I mean? I thought Hibs should have went through. I thought they deserved to get through. Sadly for them, they never went through. Good team, Kent. And they're looking at bringing in Balikwisha, which I find astonishing. But I'm going to go for a Dundee one. I'm going to say 2-1 to Dundee.
Yeah, really, yeah, Dens Park's a really tricky stadium to play it, isn't it? Well, it's a big park actually, isn't it, Dens Park? Maybe I've got money to throw away. I'll go 2-1 to Hibs in that one. Okay, Sunday again, Motherwell away from home. That's St Mirren versus Motherwell. What's your thoughts there?
St Mirren joint top of the league, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Sitting on 6 points, they've won 2 so far. And I'm sure St Mirren beat Motherwell, am I right there? Might be in the cup or something like that.
I'm not sure, but I know St Mirren. I know they're recently off a pumping off the Rangers, aren't they?
Oh, I mean, look, these freak results happen now and again. Let's be honest, that's what it was, a freak result.
Yeah.
I'm wrong with St Mirren playing Motherwell. I think St Mirren's last 2 games were they beat Falkirk 2-0 away from home. That's a good result.
Yeah.
And they beat St Mirren at home. And they get turned over by the Sefco 5-1. I think Motherwell too strong for them. Although they've been maybe nursing a European hangover as well. I'm going to go for a Motherwell win. 1-0 to Motherwell.
2-1 to St Mirren. Okay, that wraps up the SPL for the weekend. We've got Celtic versus Hibs women, ladies, girls, whatever you want to call it. Celtic versus Hibs. Celtic ladies are flying, John. But what's your prediction?
I'll just go for a Celtic women's win. I'll go for 2-0 to Celtic women. Or ladies or girls, whatever you want to call them. Yeah,
3-1 to Celtic in that one because they're flying. They're playing well. They're unbeaten actually. And I threw this one in just to make it up to you a nice round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a nice round 8, John. So Hearts versus the Rangers woman.
Hearts ladies are the champions. Sorry,
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
I'll go for Hearts women to win 3-0.
Yeah, Hearts for me as well. 2-1 to the Jam Tarts, the lady version of the Jam Tarts. Yeah, anyway, John, that's the predictor all wrapped up. I've went through a lot there the night, John. I know it's quite late on a Friday night, but we had to go through it, John. There was a lot to go through. Still very, very disappointed in the team's performance in midweek. Nothing that we can do about it. We can only talk about it. But of course, Martin O'Neill today looked absolutely gutted still in his press conference. You know, I worry about Martin, I really do. But he should just remember he's a top class manager, and he will still get the best out of the players. You know, I'm sure he's went through every single one of the boys in the dressing room, him and Sean Maloney and the coaching team. I went through the players, and I think we'll bounce back with a comfortable win, hopefully, John, against Falkirk. What's your final sum up, buddy?
Well, I certainly hope it's a comfortable one. You don't want one of the afternoons where you're, just clinging onto your seat for 90 minutes, hoping you can hold on to a 1-0 win.
I know.
You want as comfortable as possible. I think we will win this one. I certainly hope so. I think I predicted 3-1 to Celtic. Was it 4-1? I changed it, didn't I?
4-1, yeah.
I think we will get through it. I think it will be okay. I think it's going to be a statement result from the Celtic players. They've got to reward the Celtic fans with a handsome result. I hope there's no banners up. Hope there's no chance of sack the board and all that. I thought we'd seen at the end of that, although things do need to change. I think that them kind of protests should be left to something like meaningless cup games or something like that. I really don't know. I just don't want to see all that back at Celtic Park again. I just thought we'd seen the end of that, and just hope the fans turn out their numbers and get behind the team like they always should, Xander. Just support the team. That's what it's all about. We'll get more players in. Have faith, everybody. Things will be good. By the end of the season, we'll be celebrating another league championship, hopefully. So let's not go down that road of, a bad feeling around the club again. That's all I'm hoping for.
Yeah, exactly. It's there will be something in that wee corner, won't there? There will be something. But of course, it doesn't matter, John. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Nothing we can do about it. We just hope Celtic go out there and get that victory over Falkirk. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll be okay. European hangover included. Doesn't matter. We still should be good enough to get that win. Right, John, that wraps it up for us. We'll be back Tuesday to do the preview of the midweek fixtures. Celtic at home again in midweek to Aberdeen. So there is a midweek card. I'll quickly run through that midweek card, John. Right, Wednesday the 2nd of September, Celtic versus Aberdeen, quarter to 8 kickoff. Dundee versus St Johnstone, quarter to 8 kickoff. Kilmarnock against St Mirren, quarter to 8 also. Motherwell against Dundee United, quarter to 8 kickoff. And Falkirk are at home to the Rangers. So full card on Wednesday, John. So we've got that to look forward to as well, I suppose, after the Falkirk game.
Aye, it's funny how these ties work out, isn't it? Falkirk against them and Aberdeen against us, but it was the same fixtures but reversed on the Saturday, isn't it? It's just funny how that works out.
Yeah, it's so we've played them, then we play a team they've played. It's strange, isn't it? I was just looking there, John. There's another game on Thursday actually, and it's the Edinburgh Derby on Thursday. Hibs against Hearts at Easter Road. So that's another one we can look forward to. We'll do a full midweek preview of all the games, but mainly the Celtic game, and we'll do a full predictor as well for all the games also, John. So we'll be back on Tuesday to go through all that. So good luck to Celtic on Saturday. We'll catch everybody on Tuesday, John. See you on Tuesday, buddy.
See you Tuesday, Xander. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail for now.